Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Trinity College Football Coaches Show. For TSN, I'm Harry Hawkins, joined once again by head football coach Jeff Devanney. Coach, you guys won your 50th consecutive game this past weekend on Jesse Miller Field, blowing out Bowdoin 40-21. What does that 50th consecutive win mean, not only for you, but for your program?
Well, I think it's really a special milestone for our guys, and that they were really excited to play on that day, and we talked a lot about it last week. And for me personally, it's been very rewarding to be part of that. And you think back about, Mike Blair and Walter Fallis and Tom Piandre and the Jared Carrillo and just all these great players we've had. I could name 40 other players that were part of this streak, and all the effort and the work that went into being as consistent as we've been. It's something I think at the end of the season we'll probably reflect on a little bit more.
So, Coach, the first two times we sat here and we talked, you mentioned that you were frustrated a little bit with the production on the offensive side of the ball, but over the last 3 weeks, you guys have scored 40 or more points in each of these last 3 wins. Central to that seems to be freshman quarterback Sonny Puzo. He seemed to struggle a little bit at the start, and Henry sort of got a lot of playing time there in the first 2 games, but over the last 3 weeks, you guys have really been rolling with Sonny. So, what does he bring to this offense that has kept your coaching staff to keep him out on the field so much?
Well, I think both quarterbacks played really well, and it was a hard decision to make to go with one of them, really. But we made the decision that we needed to run a little bit more of the read stuff offensively. We wanted to just spread the field a little bit more and add another dimension to the offense, and Sonny does that with his ability to run the read game, and we just felt like we needed to do that, especially with some of the injuries that we've had up front. He's also completed 65% of his passes, so we just felt like with his athletic ability and his skill, if we let him kind of play a little bit more and play through some of the freshman mistakes, that would help us in the long run.
You just mentioned, Coach, you guys have had a lot of injuries, suffering through key, guys who are hurt on both sides of the ball. What does that tell you about this group?
Well, I mean, there's been some general themes here the last few weeks with our team, and one of them is we've learned how to work harder in practice and be more consistent, and it's showing up on Saturdays. I think we're getting better as the season goes on. Injuries have definitely been a theme, and one of the things I've been so impressed with the team is that it just nobody bats an eye. Everybody just moves on. I've never heard one person say, "Oh, I can't believe this guy's not playing or that guy's not playing." We just move on. Next guy plays, and it's kind of what football's all about. It's what life's all about. And I think in that game on Saturday, I don't know if anybody even noticed that our 2 starting tackles went out in the first quarter and didn't play the rest of the game. And that's kind of how we treated it as coaches. We were like, well, the next 2 guys are in, and nobody said a word, and we just kept playing, and those 2 guys went in and played well, and that's kind of what we're doing right now. It's part of life. I was watching a radio show this morning, listening to a radio show this morning, they're talking about all the injuries in the NFL. I mean, you're playing football, you got to deal with it. It's hard with a 75-man roster because there's not a lot of depth, but our guys have had a great attitude about it.
Coach, you guys are now 5-0, and over the next 3 weeks you play at Middlebury, at Amherst, and then home against Wesleyan. The league is really starting to shape up now. You and Wesleyan are at the top at 5-0, and then Amherst and Middlebury are at 4-1. As you look forward to these next 3 games, but in particular next week's game at Middlebury, what are you looking at for your team, but in particular your opponents, to try and get these final 3 wins?
Well, we were in the same position last year, and I told the team, that you can't be in a better spot. We control our own destiny, and you got to be. I mean, how much more exciting can it be to play the game that you love and be in a situation where you basically are in the playoffs right now? Everybody says we don't have playoffs. Well, this is the playoffs. But, if we want to win the championship, we better win every game that we play from here on out, and we're playing the other teams that are also in that championship run. So, it's exciting. I like the fact that we are playing those teams, and we're not hoping somebody else wins or loses. It's up to us. We were in the same exact boat last year, and we were able to get it done. And I know from what I've seen of our team the last few weeks, our guys won't take this opportunity for granted. They'll be focused, and they're going to give it their best shot.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us. As always, we thank Coach Devanney for his time. We'll be back next week to preview the Amherst game.